All right, welcome leadership teams to this explainer. If you're looking to scale your business, you've probably at least thought about the public sector, right? But let's be totally honest, the government procurement process can seem like this impenetrable fortress of red tape. Well, today, we're tearing those walls down. We're setting the stage for a professional, executive-level roadmap to entering the U.S. federal and SLED markets, that's state, local, and education contracting. So get ready, because we're going to completely demystify the process and give you actual, actionable steps to scale your operations. Okay, so here is our agenda, basically our 90-day sprint playbook. We're going to cover the federal market opportunity, essential mechanics, small business certifications, low barrier entry pathways, navigating the proposal lifecycle, and finally preparing for those big 2026 changes. Let's just jump right in. Section 1, the federal market opportunity, sizing up the U.S. government. The combined federal and SLED market represents a 1.5 to 2 trillion, yes, trillion with a T, dollar opportunity. I mean, to put that into perspective, the U.S. government is literally the single largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world. They buy absolutely everything. We're talking advanced IT infrastructure all the way down to, dog food. So entering this space, it's just the logical next step for your corporate growth. The demand is massive, the budgets are already formally allocated, and frankly, they're actively looking for the kind of innovation and agility your commercial business already provides. Moving right along to Section 2, Essential Mechanics and Registrations, or Building Your Federal Identity. Now, before any bidding can happen, you've got to establish a baseline foundation. It's basically a 4-step funnel. Step 1, you absolutely must register on SAM.gov to get your Unique Entity ID, or UEI. Step 2 is getting your CAGE code. This identifies your specific physical address for those federal payouts. Step 3 is picking your NAICS codes. Those are the North American Industry Classification System codes that precisely define exactly what services or products you offer. And finally, Step 4 is optimizing your SBA, Small Business Administration profile, so buyers can actually find you when they're searching keywords. And honestly, the absolute best part about this whole setup, these are zero-cost credentials. You can get these sorted efficiently by leveraging completely free government-funded resources like Apex accelerators. All right, Section 3, Small Business Certifications Explained. We're talking access tools versus wind drivers. So certifications literally open doors. Specialized statuses, things like the 8A Business Development Program, Women-Owned Small Business, or Service-Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business, these unlock exclusive access to restricted government set-asides. Basically, the government legally sets aside a certain percentage of its contracting dollars specifically for these groups. Plus, having these certifications helps federal agencies meet their own internal diversity spending goals, which, you guessed it, makes you a highly attractive partner right out of the gate. But we do need a quick reality check here. Certifications can restrict competition, but they do not guarantee revenue. That is a hard, pragmatic truth. As executives, you've got to understand that an SBA certification is really just an access tool. It is absolutely not a substitute for execution, past performance, or writing a compelling proposal. It gets you a seat at the table, sure, but you still have to actually play the game and win. Which brings us to Section 4, Low Barrier Entry Pathways, Architecting for Success. Imagine trying to carry the massive burden of federal compliance entirely by yourself on day one. That's the prime contractor route. It's incredibly high risk, it requires extensive past performance, which you might not even have yet, and it comes with a super heavy, expensive compliance overhead. Instead, look at the subcontractor first pathway. This is the lower risk, highly recommended route. By partnering with established industry giants, think primes like Booz Allen or Leidos, you gain immediate, essential performance history, you get to learn the precise ropes of federal delivery, while the prime carries the heaviest compliance burdens for you. But to do this safely, you really need the right corporate structure. By utilizing specialized deal partnership architectures, like setting up a parent-subsidiary model or a joint venture, you can strategically isolate specific project liabilities. This means you can aggressively go after those lucrative federal subcontracts and partnerships while totally protecting your core commercial assets from rigid government compliance risks. It's a very calculated, smart way to scale up. Next up, Section 5, Navigating the Proposal Lifecycle, Securing the Win. Winning federal work requires absolute, extreme discipline across 6 strict phases of proposal development: qualify, plan, develop, review, submit, and learn. Now, the absolutely most critical phase here is qualify. The most successful contractors out there, they use a due diligence process that actively tries to disprove a pursuit before they commit a single dollar or resource to it.
You have to ask yourselves, do we actually have the past performance? Can we definitively deliver on this? Do we truly understand this specific customer? If you can't survive that rigorous qualification, just don't bid. I promise it saves immense time, money, and heartache.
Now, when you do decide to bid, understanding the strict rules of a federal request for proposal is non-negotiable. These solicitations are divided into sections, but the absolutely critical ones are Section C, which is the actual work requirements, Section L, the exact instructions for your proposal format, and Section M, exactly how the government is going to evaluate you. Leadership teams, hear me loud and clear on this. You must build a strict compliance matrix. If you miss a single mandatory shall or must requirement in Section L, your proposal goes straight to the shredder. Literally, they won't even read it. Perfect compliance is just as important as your technical genius here. Finally, Section 6, preparing for 2026 changes, navigating the new regulatory landscape.
The horizon is shifting rapidly, and your internal operations need to be ready. 2026 brings the revolutionary FAR overhaul, which is this massive government-wide effort to modernize the federal acquisition regulation. But honestly, the biggest hurdle for a lot of companies is going to be cybersecurity. The Department of Defense is rolling out the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, or CMMC. If you handle any sensitive federal info, you must ensure the mandatory implementation of NIST SP 800-171 security controls. We're also seeing drastically increased supply chain oversight. You've got to identify critical suppliers and evaluate any foreign sourcing risks right now, well before you're ever actually audited. And speaking of audits, the Defense Contract Management Agency, or DCMA, oversees what's known as the Contractor Purchasing System Review, the CPSR. The really vital takeaway here is that once your government sales start to scale, usually when you cross that $50 million threshold, your own internal procurement policies have to be flawless. The government is going to evaluate exactly how efficiently and compliantly you spend their funds when you're subcontracting work out. You must enforce adequate, documented policies on things like conflicts of interest, mandatory flow-down clauses, and rigorous supply chain security. So, we've covered the massive market opportunity, the essential mechanics, strategic entry pathways, proposal discipline, and that looming compliance horizon of 2026. I know it's a lot, but it is entirely manageable if you have the right laser-like focus. Which brings me to this final, somewhat provocative question. Is your business ready to authorize a 90-day federal entry sprint? I really challenge you as executives to commit to explicit milestones and budget gates today. Don't just throw open-ended spending at administrative registrations and new software. Execute a disciplined 90-day sprint and position your company to actually claim its share of this $2 trillion market. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.